Thank you. That's good. Yes, in relation to the carbon tax and the incredible plight that was put on the people over the last number of years, with a rosy idea to literally rob the people of rural Ireland, to fill the pockets for the people in the bigger cities and towns so that they can get super transport services that we don't have in rural Ireland. Carbon tax is a direct attack, an absolute and utter direct attack on the people of rural Ireland, nothing else. But you have succeeded in getting a nice, healthy tax take and a rosy looking figures, Minister. But it's come at a very, very high cost to the ordinary mother and father, and they're not going to forget that. When election day comes, the people of the rural constituencies, because they're fuming. They tell me on a regular basis they can't afford. They can't afford to put the fuel in the car because of the carbon tax and other taxes. You have the government are on a clean out when it comes to fuel taxes, absolute fuel tax. And you see the same with agricultural diesel. Farmers have been hit so severe this year with fertiliser and other costs. It's been an absolute disastrous year for agriculture. And the last thing, like, I met a silage contractor in a peninsula up north of my own place recently. The man was so distressed, he was crying to me. He was under serious trouble. He didn't know where he was going to get the money from the farmers, because they didn't have the money to pay the contractor, and his fuel bill was astronomical in comparison to other years. Quite frightening, Minister. But you've lost touch with that kind of a situation. You've done a greedy tax take and a greedy carbon tax take, and used the word climate action over as an umbrella to cover all. But it's not. It doesn't cover all. And the problem is, if agricultural diesel, or if the man is driving the truck and bringing the food to the shops, his diesel is skyrocketing through the roof, or the farmers' fuel is skyrocketing through the roof. Well, that means the food is skyrocketing at the shops. And again, it's back again to the mother and the father in this country that get up and work hard every day and try their living best to pay their way and pay their bills, and they're finding it almost impossible to do so, and quite a lot of them can't do that at this present time. So, Minister, I would ask you to give very serious consideration to a lot of amendments that we put forward already, stating that carbon tax should be suspended for now, because it won't be long before we know that fuel is going to be €3 a diesel at the pump. And I don't know, I wouldn't like to be the politician that supports that and is knocking on the door, looking to pat the same person on the back, looking for a vote. As I said, it is a very difficult time for, and one of our amendments there was mainly on the agricultural diesel. It is an extremely difficult time, and there's a motion there later on that you might give some bit of ease to farmers with the impaired farm credit bill, and surely you won't vote against the farmer and the people of rural Ireland again on that. But what I will say is, we don't have a public transport service, unfortunately. We in rural Ireland, they totally depend utterly on the car. And unfortunately, that's priced out of it. As I said earlier on, carbon tax and climate change is the reason that carbon tax is being brought in. But at the same time, it didn't stop ministers, heads of state, flying 400 jets into Egypt last week for this climate discussion. And what damage they did to the climate was frightening. And there was no worry about that. And Minister Ryan took 55 officials with him of some sort. I don't know, were they Green Party officials or were they Fine Gael or Fianna Fáil, but certainly it was farcical enough, to say the least, to think that many people had to go with one minister, never mind the Taoiseach, and how many more went with him, and other ministers who went there. And look, we'll be pressing this amendment anyhow.